goes, you think, when she abdicates or
well, I don't think
she
she'll
dies?
abdicate.
No, I think she'll die.
I don't think she'll abdicate. That is not a tradition in Britain.
Yeah.
That is not a tradition in Israel. That is not a tradition in Israel.
Okay.
Yes, no. Are the Khazars? Are they the synagogue of Satan?
On what?
You know the Khazari Empire. They converted to Judaism.
Yeah.
In about 8th century AD, and I'm reading a book called The Study Pt3, which claims that the Khazars are actually make up 95% of people who claim to be Jews nowadays.
That is, which is absolutely right. Yeah.
Would they be the synagogue of Satan that's talked about in Revelation?
It could be, but yeah, you're absolutely right. 95% of them are, they're not descendants of
they're
Isaac and Jacob.
And they go back to they claim. Oh, what's it? Like Ham, Shem, and Japheth. They go back to Japheth.
Yeah. They are not, and yet people who, the Jews, and the Jewish Encyclopedia actually itself admits that that they are descendants of the Khazar kingdom. So but people will all bow down and worship the people who call themselves Jews, well, they're not Jews at all. Well, they're not Israelites.
Yeah, so that must be the synagogue of Satan.
Yeah.
Who then accused. I don't know if they've accused Christians that much, but they did fight against the Byzantine Empire.
Yeah.
But also they fought against Islam, that they were responsible. If it wasn't for them being a bastion in the Caucasus, we would have been taken over by the Eastern Caliphate.
Yeah.
So all the ones God's calling out are Israelites, are they?
I am convinced that everyone in this age that's called are Israelites. Yeah. It's from Israel that God is calling the sons of God.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what I say in Corinthians, like Paul says there. People think, oh, these are Gentiles, but Paul doesn't say that at all. He says, when our fathers passed through the cloud. Well, Gentile fathers never went through the cloud. No. Only Israelites. So when he was speaking to the Corinthians, he was speaking to Israelites.
Yeah. And in Isaiah, it's all about the nation of Israel, and all about how the king of Israel will come back, and Israel will be like a remnant sent forth.
Yeah, that's right. It's God said to Abraham, in you and in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Israel is first to be brought into perfection. After that, if we read
Judah after that. Would it be Judah after
well,
that?
Judah is combined with Ephraim now already. Jutland, for example, in Denmark, is Judah land. That's where Jews or Judahites had actually met with their brethren after the Babylonian captivity, joined with them in the Caucasus, and all of them together migrated westwards.
Amazing, isn't it?
So they were all joined together. There's that sort of parable of the stick being the stick of Ephraim and the stick of Judah being made one.
Yeah.
So they were, and then they emigrated across Western Europe.
And it makes sense because the Western Kingdom, even because they were taken over by the Vikings, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were a massive force. And I don't know who they're meant to be, but they.
Vikings are Israelites.
Yeah, I know there is that, but I don't know what tribe they're meant to be.
Yeah.
And the whole world was followed after the Western Kingdom. Even China, they used communism, which was a political system originating in Germany, to hasten industrial progress.
Yeah.
And now they're using capitalism, which is another Western sort of thing to increase even more.
Yeah.
And what they've become is like this caricature, almost a satire of the East of Europe.
Yeah.
And America.
As Japan did.
Yeah.
Similar sort of situation.
But all their comics, they're white people.
Yeah. But yeah. So so they are Israelites. We've been brought in, like in Revelation, it speaks of the heavenly city. That is totally Israelitish. Everything about it.
So everybody who's been called out know they're Israelites?
Not necessarily.
I mean, I wouldn't know as an Israelite if I got them.
No, not necessarily.
But then again, I mean, I think eventually they'll have it revealed to them. I don't know when. But
well, if we look at the ages it's passed through, Wesley, for example, may not have known that.
No.
Whitfield may not have known it. But you see, it speaks in the Bible. It says that blindness in part has come upon Israel.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are blind. They know the Lord Jesus Christ, but they're blind to who they are.
Yeah.
blindness in part.
Yeah. I think they'll be shocked when they do realise that they
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
are part of
But
Israel.
the tremendous thing is that God, throughout this age, God, since probably 1500 or whatever, God is revealing more and more truth that was hidden and lost in the Dark Ages.
What I don't get though is it is so obvious in the scriptures. Once you see it, it is so obvious. And a lot of these people, they read the scriptures something on it, they gobble up that stuff. And they don't see any of it.
Carry on.
If you say I'm an Israelite, they'll look at you as if you're mad.
Absolutely. Well, that's what they do. Well, like Chris has said there, if you say that God is going to save everyone and bring them all into His image, they look at it as if you're mad.
Yeah, I know they do.
But that's it. I mean, Paul had exactly that experience, didn't he? When he was testifying before whoever it was, Festus or whoever it was, they said, much learning has made you mad. That's the reaction. Much learning has made you mad.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, did say it.
When I first kind of had inklings of the gospel, my eyes opened, I was searching for a bit. I put in a madhouse. It was actually quite a fun old time.
That much learning. Where is that?
It's Festus and Agrippa.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's towards the end of Acts. He's gone back to Jerusalem.
That's right.
He's making it so that he'll be sent to Rome.
Yeah.
Right, Agrippa, he goes, you've almost turned me into a Christian. And he goes, I wish you were all together as I was, except for
without
chains.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Without these chains, yeah.
He was chained, he was shackled because...
Is that it's a literal thing he's talking about?
shackled,
Okay.
Because in Jerusalem there was a conspiracy amongst a lot of the Jews to kill him. So he
Yeah,
heard
that's right.
about this, and I'm not sure if it's Herod or somebody else. They sent him up to Caesarea.
Right.
What's the scripture?
Acts 26, 24 to 27.
Ah.
Acts 26, 24 to 27.
Shall I read it?
Yeah.
24 to 27. Acts 26.
26, yeah.
And as he thus spake for himself, Festus said with a loud voice, Paul, thou art beside thyself, much learning doth make thee mad. But he said, I am not mad, most noble Festus, but speak forth the words of truth and soberness. For the king knoweth all these things, before whom also I speak freely. For I am persuaded that none of these things are hidden from me. For this thing was not done in a corner. King Agrippa, believest thou the prophets? I know that thou believest.
Yeah, so that was the reaction there. They said, you must be mad. And Jesus himself, they called him Beelzebub.
But that was essentially because he was saying to the Pharisees and the Sadducees, who are useless now, because he proclaimed the good news that he was there, that it was needed to be done. I mean, if you go to a church now and you said, I'm in the image of God now, my words are God, words of the Lord, they'll think you're crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, but when I was saying earlier about the rich young man, you see, that people in Babylon are nice people,
Yeah.
but they won't leave their riches and follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth.
They
Yeah.
resist the Holy Spirit.
So what are their riches? And I thank God that when God revealed to me what Babylon was, I had not set up, if you like,
Yeah.
another assembly. Because I would have had riches that I would have clung to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are people who like to receive recognition. They like to be, I'm a pastor, or I'm a,
Yeah.
I'm a leader, or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. And the thought of leaving all that behind means that they do what the rich young man did, which was go away sorrowful. So
That-
the
that-
nice people, they don't follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. And
Follow the
that
pastor, don't
is
they?
where the difference is.
Yeah.
So that is why, when people say to me, well, you know, are these people saved? I put a question mark, because that's highly doubtful.
Where's Mike stand, do you think? We haven't seen him for like weeks and weeks, have we?
Well, you know, Jesus on one occasion was talking to Peter, wasn't he? And said, "Lovest thou me more than these?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as he was speaking to him, John came, and Peter said, "What shall this man do?"
Mm.
And Jesus said, "What is that to thee? Follow thou me."
Paul says, "Judge not a man before the time." And Paul says, "I don't even judge myself."
Yeah.
Yeah, but the main thing is, what is that to thee? Follow thou me.
Yeah.
You know, we're speaking of 144,000, they were virgins, they were not defiled with women, they followed the Lamb
Yeah.
whithersoever he goeth. That is what's required of us.
Let-
Follow him.
Yeah. That's it.
Because as we follow him, you will find that people who you thought were coming with you drift away.
Yeah.
That happens.
That what happened with the disciples, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Because they couldn't take what Jesus was saying.
Absolutely, that's right. He spoke, and it says many stopped following him from then on because
Yeah.
it's what he said, and that's what happens.
Mm.
And as Jesus went further and further in his walk, he came to a point in the end where it was only him left.
Yeah.
When they nailed him to the cross.
Yeah. You've got to follow the Lamb, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the foreshadow is in the Old Testament so much as well as in the New, isn't it?
Yeah.
More in like an allegorical kind of way.
Yeah.
In the
Quite
Old and
blatant
literal in the
about
New.
it. I think it's quite blatant. The way he works, it says in the latter days, Samuel will speak, you know, and will be taught by the Lord. Can't get it more blatant than that.
But the big thing is to follow the Lamb.
Yeah.
And that is what I find is what separates. They're quite happy to go along with him, like Jesus said, you know, when all the things are going okay and while they're getting the praise of men and all the rest of it. When that is threatened, you know, all these I've kept from my youth upwards, you know, I've done all this. Go and sell all your house.
It's all works,
Follow
isn't it?
them,
That's the tough bit, isn't
that
it?
is when they turn away.
That's good. When you know that that's what you want, that gives you such liberty, because you know you're not selling anything, you're not trying to make people follow you or get anything for yourself. But you can say what you want, and you can be who you are. You can.
And you come into the world with nothing anyway, and to depart with is nothing as well.
But there's no sacrifice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, there's no, that's what I say. When the Lord revealed to me what Babylon was, it was no sacrifice for me to leave it.
Yeah.
I had nothing in it.
Yeah.
Jesus said, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. I had no treasure in it. But there are people who do have treasure in it.
Why don't that sort of go bankrupt?
But there are people who have treasure in Babylon, Caroline.
Yeah.
There are people who have treasure in
Loads
it.
of Babylon. I've got a few friends on Facebook who go to the churches, but because I've gone in and come back, gone in and come back, they see. I think my name stinks amongst them, and it's a good thing because they've even come up to me before I've had this experience I've had recently, and even having that I'm in the midst of it, it hasn't decreased. But they took me to the pub. Two of them did. And they were saying, but don't you want people to listen to you? Don't you want to be stood in this pulpit? And I was like, no, I don't really. I mean, there's a part of me that, yeah, that'd be glorious, you know. Like,
I think it's nice to talk about your faith though, and to give people a reason to believe. Well, I'm doing it all the time,
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Well, because you're constrained.
Yeah.
The love of Christ.
Yeah.
You want to speak about him.
Sure.
Because the things that he has in store for us are so
It's-
glorious.
no eye have seen or ear heard.
I mean, you can't button your lip.
No.
I mean, it's literally the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, you know, and go to sleep. You know, my mind is constantly thinking about the Lord, and
Yeah, well, I'm like that.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean,
Because it's
20
not-
years ago, 15 years ago, you know, not
Yeah.
three things.
That's what it's like with me. When I tried coming to the Lord before, I would instantly get bogged down with trying to prove things, and I wouldn't chat to God with that. I'd be thinking in my mind, I'd be directing it towards people. I'll
Yeah.
say this, I'll say that, I'll prove it this way. But now, sometimes my mind goes like that, but when I'm talking to the Lord, I grow so much. I
Mm.
learn so many new things, and
Yeah.
He shows me things that I just could not have known otherwise.
Mm.
And so I'll catch my